Hello people, so let's start with the next topic, that is Ind AS 40, called investment property. Investment property, Ind AS 40. A very simple chintu pintu easy peasy topic, nothing much, okay, hardly many things are similar to Ind AS 16. Now first let's understand this term investment property. Sir, listen to what I'm saying. Investment property means land to building. What did I say? Investment property means it's either a land or land and building. It's either a land or a land and building. Okay, it doesn't end there. That land, or that land or building, you're not using it for your business purpose. You're not using it for your business purpose. You purchased that particular land or building to get some rental income. To get some rental income or capital appreciation purpose. Or what purpose? Capital appreciation purpose. Like your forefathers or your fathers and all favorite investment, no? Land. People used to buy land. Why? Because their idea was, let's say now the land cost 50 lakh. They will buy. What? With what intention? Later when the value becomes 75 lakh, we can sell it. That we call it as capital appreciation. So if you are buying any asset with an intention to get some rental income or capital appreciation. Capital appreciation means your selling price will be more than your buying price and you can make some profits. If that is your intention to buy any land or building, then such property we call it as what, sir? Investment property. The scope of investment property is only this much. Land or what? Again, you tell me your definition now. Investment property means what? Our own understanding definition. It's either a land or land and building. We have purchased it with what intention? To get some rental income or to get some capital appreciation. Okay, na sir? That's the main definition. Clear? Okay. Now, sir, it's not necessary to fully let out the land and building. It's not fully necessary to let out the land and building. Like here, let's say I have purchased a building. Ground floor, we are using it for business purpose. Ground floor we are using for business purpose. First floor I have let out for rental purpose. So whole building is let out or only a part of the building is let out? Part of the building. So even part of the property comes under investment property ka standard. It's not necessary that the whole building should be given on rental. Even if part of the building is let out, that is also acceptable, but that's considered in your definition. That's what the word line means here. Land or a building or part of a building. Either whole thing you can let out or even part of the building you can let out. Yes, sir. No need to just remember the exact words. Meaning if you understand, that's good enough. Definition and all, they will not ask. So it should be okay. Understood the meaning? So far everybody? Next point is, we don't have to 100% own it. We don't have to own it. If we have subleased it. If we have subleased. What does sublease means? You have done AS 19, man. Subleasing means what? We take the property on rent and we further rent it out to another third party. Like here, A rented the property to B. B further rented the property to C. Okay, everybody? Now, who owns this property? Who's the owner of the property? In this example, A. So, B is basically A is the lessor. A is the lessor. B is what? Lessee. C is also lessee. This we used to call it a sublease arrangement. If you remember in AS 19, we had this concept. If you forgotten, no problem. Again, it will come. We'll do it later. Okay. Now, people, what has B done? What has B done here? B is using this property for business purpose or further leased it? Further leased it. I mean, this property, B will show it as a investment property. Though it's not necessary you should own the property. If you take it on lease and if you further lease it, then that property also will be called as what, sir? Investment property. That's what they're saying over here as such. Either owned or ROU asset held by the lessee for rental purpose. Understood, everybody? Clear? Okay, I'll talk about more about ROU and all. ROU means right of use asset. Whenever an asset is taken by the lessee, whenever asset is taken by the lessee, Ind AS 116, we had AS 19 and CA intermediate, Here we have Ind AS 116. What Ind AS 116 says is, whenever a lessee takes an asset on lease, lessee has to show two things. One is ROU, another one is LL. What is the full form? ROU is right of use asset account. LL is lease liability. So these two, lessee has to show at what value, what is the reason for this, what is the logic of this. We will see it in Ind AS 116. For now, you don't have to worry about that. But in investment property context, did you understand what this means? Okay, redefine the whole definition for me. Let's see. Investment property means what? It's either a land or building. Okay. Either you're owning it or you're subleased it. Okay. For what purpose? You're holding this land and building either to get some rental income or to get some capital appreciation. Is it necessary whole building should be let out, or even part is acceptable? Part is acceptable. That's all. That's the point. If you know, that's good enough. Understood the meaning? Can I move on to the next? That's your investment property. Okay. All right. Now, following are some of the examples of investment property. Sir, this example, no, you keep it as LDR better. This will sort out a lot of things. What is IP? What is not IP? That is also one sort of question IC frequently asks from this question, from this chapter for 1 or 2 marks. So this one, you know, they will use this in one of the numerical question and ask, not numerical question, some case-based question they will ask. Huh? Sir, PL, where, what much of? Where is PL? Where did I write PL? Where I wrote PL, macha? Yoraj? I wrote LL, no? Not PL. LL. Oh, LL means lease liability. LL means lease liability. Don't worry, this is Ind AS 116 ka concept. We will do that when it comes. After 10 days, this will come. ROU is right of use. Okay, LL is lease liability. It will come in then. This is not relevant for this topic, so you don't have to worry about that. Right? It will come in Ind AS 116. We will do it after 15 days or something. We will do that. Can I move on, Yuvraj? Okay, next. Following are examples of investment property. Some of the examples. So first, land which is held for capital appreciation purpose. We already know this. If you are holding a land for capital appreciation purpose, definitely it is investment property. Okay. Land, look at the next one. Land held for currently undeterminable future use. You have purchased the land. We have purchased the land. We don't know for what purpose we will use it. Either we can use it for our business purpose, or we can use it as a capital appreciation purpose. That usage you know or you're not yet know. You don't know yet, right? Even if you don't know its usage currently, you still classify that property as what? Investment property. Understood? Now, in case some of you are wondering what is the reason for this is, sir, in your balance sheet, now you already know, in Ind AS balance sheet, first what will come? Assets will come, then equity and liabilities. Sir, property, plant and equipment is a separate asset. Investment property is a separate asset. You need to show them separately. That is the reason we are studying this. If a property is an investment property, it will come separate category in your balance sheet. Understood? Okay. Now, which PPs will come here and which PPs will come in IP, we are learning. Understood, everybody? That's the reason for us to know more about investment property, because they are shown separately in our balance sheet. Okay, now come back to this. So, land, if the usage of land is not shown, if the usage of land is not known, you will show it as PP or investment property only. Investment property only is a suggested number there. Now check this. Building owned by the entity. Building which is owned by the entity and leased out under operating lease. We are owning a building and we given it on lease. So when you give it on lease, you will get some rental income. A building which is given on rental income is what property? PPE or investment property? Investment property, because you are holding it for rental purpose. No? Any land or building which is held for rental purpose or capital appreciation purpose or both, it is what sort of property? Investment property. Okay. A building, currently it is vacant. Currently we have not let it out. Currently it is vacant, but it is held to be leased out under operating lease. Currently it is vacant, but what is our intention? To give it on lease. When you give it on lease, you will earn rental income. So this is also what sort of property? Investment property. Okay. A property that is being constructed or further development for use as investment property. A property which is currently not there. We are constructing a building. We are constructing a building. After construction, what is our intention? To use it for business purpose or let it out. Either we will let out or we will or we will hold it for capital appreciation purpose. If that is our intention, means this building which is still under construction also will come under which category? Investment property category itself. Any problem, people? These are the examples of some of the properties which can be classified as investment property, or in simple layman language if I have to tell. You remember PPE ka definition? Ind AS 16. Call it out once for me. Recap that for me. Tangible asset held for use. Usage should be for more than one period. That usage could be either to produce goods or to produce service or administrative purpose or rental purpose. Correct? No. So if you are using the property to produce goods or render service or administrative purpose, it will come under which category? PP category. If you have let out the property for rental purpose, then it will come out under investment property. Understood? Everybody, that's the distinction. Okay. And moreover, investment property covers every asset or only land and building? Only land or land and building. All other assets you'll have to apply Ind AS 16 ka fund down. That's the meaning. Okay, everybody. Okay, now check. They have given some of the examples of properties which are not investment property. Check this. Sale in the ordinary course of business. Sir, if you are selling the land in the ordinary course of business, something which we sell in the ordinary course of business, is it PP or inventory? Inventory, you can apply this standard or inventory ka standard. Inventory ka standard is Ind AS 2. Like AS2 we had an enter, here we have Ind AS 2. Because this is not PP, this is inventory. Owner occupied property. Owner occupied property. This I'm going to refer this as OOP. I'm going to call it as what? OOP. Investment property, I'll refer it as IP. Owner occupied property, we will call it as OOP. Owner occupied property means those properties which are held for production of goods, rendering service or administrative purpose. For these three purposes, if you are using the properties, means we can call it, it will come under PP category. You can call it also as what? Owner occupied property. You can call this as owner occupied property. So for that means you tell me, sir, for owner occupied property, will you apply Ind AS 40 or Ind AS 16? Ind AS 16, because it is not an investment property. Easy. Okay, next, employee occupied property. Sir, if you have given any properties on rent to your employees are required for your business purpose. So if you are using a property indirectly for your business purpose, it is investment property or Ind AS 16? Ind AS 16. So employee occupied property also will come under Ind AS 16. Will not apply Ind AS 40 ka provision. Oh, okay. OOP awaiting disposal. OOP awaiting disposal means it is held for sale. Sir, if it is held for sale, we have a separate standard. Which standard I told? Anybody remembers? Ind AS 105. If any non-current asset is held for sale, we have a separate standard called Ind AS 105. That standard will get triggered. We will do this after we do Ind AS 36. I'll talk about that. Okay, sir. Property leased to another entity. 1 second, hang on. Sir, if you are leasing any property, we will earn some rental income. So if you are leased out any property, ideally it should be investment property. But check what sort of a lease it's been given under. Finance lease. We have given a property under what lease? Finance lease. Now people, this you need, it's an overlapping knowledge. Actually not much required, but still 1 minute I'll spend on this. Everybody listen. Whenever we take an asset on lease, listen to this carefully. Again, I'll tell in Ind AS 116 topic. In detail, maybe we'll cover. For now, point has come. So 2 minutes I'll spend on this. If you take a property on lease as a lessee, Ind AS 116 says you have to show 2 things. What are those 2 things I said? Ind AS 116 suggests lessee to show ROU and lease liability. ROU means what? Right of use asset. LL means lease liability. One asset and one liability lessee has to show. This is as per which standard? Lease wala standard, which is Ind AS 116. Okay. Everybody good? Clear? Now, everybody. Sir, if investment property standard has to apply, means what you all have to do? First, the lessee will take the asset on lease and then keep the property or sublease it. Sublease it, right? Now, leases are of 2 types, either OL or FL. I think you have done this. OL means what? Operating lease. FL means finance lease. Now, if it is finance lease, no people, what Ind AS 116 says is asset you have to derecognize. Asset you have to derecognize. The moment, what will happen in finance leases? B Limited is showing ROU here. If the sublease entered, if the sublease arrangement is a finance lease, then ROU will come or ROU will be taken off. ROU will be removed. If asset itself is not there, where is investment property ka question? Asset are you showing in your books or asset you cancelled? Asset itself, if you cancel, means how can you show that asset as an investment property? Yeah. For you to show it as investment property, that asset should be there in your books. Is it there in your books or got cancelled? Cancelled. Why it gets cancelled, I will tell you in Ind AS 116. What's the logic for that? There's actually Ind AS 116 ka concept, but okay, it's come here, so I'm just saying it. That means just remember it as one liner. Tell me, people. Listen to my sentence carefully and tell me the answer. I'm a lessee. I'm a lessee. I've taken a building on lease. I've taken a building on lease. So I don't own the building. I've taken it on lease. I took the building on lease and I subleased it. After taking the building on lease, that means in my example, I am what here? B. I took the building on lease and I subleased it. Okay. Now, when I enter into a lease arrangement, I need to find out whether it is an operating lease or a finance lease. If it is operating lease, then I'm B, I will show this property as a investment property. If the same lease, if I've subleased on a finance lease, then should I have to show this as investment property? No, because the asset itself is not there. Okay, everybody. So that means for you to show investment property under lease arrangement, it has to be what kind of a lease? Operating lease. If it is finance lease, investment property will not come into picture, because under finance lease, asset only itself will get de-recognized. Why? What is the logic? How to do it? Ind AS 116. So everybody good? Now tell me with all these pointers the definition. What and all you have understood? Tell me, give me that definition back. Investment property means land or building. Full or even part is okay. Full or part is okay. You should own it, or you can also be a lessee. You can own it, or you can be a lessee who has taken an asset on lease and subleased. But that sublease has to be operating lease. Okay. I mean, these property we are holding for two intentions. What are those two intentions behind holding investment property? Either to get some rental income or to get some capital appreciation. That's what I've written it as definition of. Clear, sir? Okay. If you are using any property for your business purpose, it is investment property or owner occupied property. Now I'll call it as OOP IP. Comfortable, everybody? OOP means it will come under which category? PPE category. Investment property, we have separate category in balance sheet. So if you are using the property for your business purpose, meaning to produce goods or render a service or administrative purpose, which standard will apply? PPE ka standard will apply, which is Ind AS 16. If you have let it out for rental purpose, then you own it, and if you have let it out for rental purpose under operating lease, then which standard will apply? Ind AS 40 will apply, because it is an investment property. If you have let out a property to your employees, if you have given a property on rent to your employees, what sort of property it is? It is OOP or IP? OOP, because employees are required for your business purpose. So it will be still considered as you're using it for property. Though you have given the building on rent to your employees, it will be still considered as you're using it for your business purpose. And which standard will apply? Ind AS 16. Okay, fair enough. Move on to the next two. Now check this. So there are only 3-4 more concepts in this question. Remaining are all questions. Hardly small 4-5 concepts are there. Check this. Small things. No need to mug it up. If you just know it by examples, that is enough here. Property held for more than one purpose. Property held for more than one purpose. Like, let's look at this example. I have 5 floors in a building. My building has 5 floors. 4 floors is OOP. 4 floors is OOP. OOP means OP ka full form is owner occupied property. That means 4 floors we are using it for our business purpose. 1 floor I have let out. 1 floor I have let out. Now you tell me, am I using this property for one purpose or more than one purpose? A part of it I'm using it for business purpose. One part I'm using it as a let out purpose. In this case, what we have to do? That is what is the provision. Understood? What are we trying to study? I'm not asking an answer. You got what concept are we trying to study? Okay. When a property is used for more than one purpose, what the standard is trying to say is, check whether can you sell the property separately. Can you sell the property separately, or at least can you give it on finance lease separately? What is the question you'll ask? Can we sell this 4 floors and 1 floor separately? Can you sell 1 floor separately? Can you sell 4 floors separately? If you can't sell it, at least see if you can give it on what? Finance lease. If the answer to that question is yes, either we can sell it separately or give it on finance lease separately, then accounting also you do it separately. Meaning 4 floors you are using it for OOP purpose, no? Then the 4 floors you account it as OOP, and for this 4 floors, which standard will apply? Ind AS 60. 1 floor you have let out, no? That let out property you show it as investment property, and for this, which standard will apply? Ind AS 40 will apply. Got it? Everybody got it? Now suppose if you cannot sell this property or give it on finance lease separately. If you cannot sell this or give it on finance lease separately. No, don't forget this example. Look at this example now. I have only 1 floor. In that 1 floor building, I have 1 room. In that room, I'm storing my office files. I'm using it as a storage room. I'm building another example here. I have only 1 building, only 1 floor. In that 1 floor building, 1 room, I'm using it as a storage room to store my office files. Balance portion, I've let it out. Now you tell me, this 1 room and the balance, can I sell it separately? No, these are part of the same structure, no? So can I sell it separately? No. Can I give it on finance lease separately? Will anybody agree? 1 room I will use it, balance you use it, and people may not be that comfortable, right? So this is an example of what? You cannot sell it separately, or you cannot give it on finance lease separately. So if the answer to this question is no, you cannot sell it separately or give it on finance lease separately, what the standard says is, check what? Is the usage for business purpose significant? What word, sir? You're using the part of the property for business purpose, no? So check, is the use for business purpose significant? Business purpose means it is either used to produce goods or render a service or administrative purpose. If the usage for this purpose, is it significant or not, you need to ask. If the usage for business purpose, if it is significant means, then the whole property will be classified as OOP. You will not segregate entire property here. If you conclude that in this example, check this example screen. In this example, if they conclude they're using 1 room for storing it as office files, right? So if they say this usage is significant, then this whole property will be classified as what? Whole property will be classified as OOP, and which standard will apply? Ind AS 60. If you conclude no, usage for business purpose is not significant, it is only minor usage. Then the whole property will get classified as investment property. Segregation will not work. Whole property will be either classified as OOP or IP. That's the funda. Understood this concept now? Whatever I've written in the chart, same thing they've written it as pointer over there. Pointers are not required. This is more than enough for us. Clear, sir? Again, all this will not come as theory. They will give you a case study. But in order to solve that case study, you need to know the provision. Everybody comfortable? Tell me the provision once again. Let's see. What is this provision? What is this provision all about? If you have 1 property which is used for 1 purpose or more than 1 purpose. If you have a property which is used for business purpose also, rental purpose also. For more than 1 purpose if you are using, first you need to ask 1 question. What is that? Can you sell it separately or give it on finance lease separately? If you can separate them, then accounting also you do it separately. Let out portion you record it as IP and Ind AS 40 will apply. Business usage property will be recorded as OOP and Ind AS 16 will apply. But however, if you conclude, what conclusion? If you cannot sell the property separately or give it on finance lease separately, then you need to check, is the usage for business purpose significant or not? If significant usage is done for business purpose means, then the whole property will be classified as OOP and Ind AS 16 will apply. If the usage for business purpose, if it is not significant, then the entire property will get classified as IP. Okay, now one students will ask you, sir, if it is finance lease means it is not investment property, no sir, because asset will be derecognized. Just now you only told. We are not selling here. Check. They're saying, can it be sold? Can it be sold or given on finance lease separately? That means you are checking. Can we give it on finance lease? If you give it on finance lease, asset you will derecognize. So investment property will not come. Here we are checking, can we sell it or can we give it on finance lease separately? There's only a checkpoint. We have not actually given it on finance lease. Is it possible to give it on finance lease or sell it is what we are checking here. Understood the meaning? Goinda, got it. Okay, that's a point. If you have got this particular provision, next one or two answer, can you tell me there are some case studies behind this? Now you tell me here, people, example one. Online also so far okay, no? We can get to the case, no people? Anybody updating anything, processing anything? Or can we get to some of the case studies around this, whatever we have discussed so far? Okay, all right, move on to the next. Okay, look at this example one in your book. Sun Limited owns a building having how many floors? 15 floors. 5 floors it is using for office purpose. 10 floors they have leased it out under operating lease. So one usage or more than one usage? More than one usage. According to the law, company can sell 10 floors ka title and retain other 5 floors ka title. That means 10 floor ka sale and 5 floor ka sale we can, is it dependent or we can sell it independently? If you can sell it independently, what does the standard say? If you can sell it or given on finance lease separately, means accounting also will be done separately. How many floors you are using for office purpose? 5 floors. I mean this 5 floors you will classify it as OP. How many floors have you let out? 10 property. That will be classified as investment property. Like that. Easy. Next one. Moon uses 35% of the office floor space of the building as head office. We don't have multiple floors. We have only one floor. In that one floor, 35% we are using it as head office, business purpose. That means it is OP portion. Balance 65% we have let it out to tenants. So that means one purpose or more than one purpose. Now they are saying it is unable to sell the tenant space or enter into a finance lease. So can you sell the property separately or give it on finance lease separately, or you cannot? If you cannot sell the property or give it on finance lease separately, one more question you will ask, what is it? Is the usage for business purpose significant? So 35% is a small number or big number? No. Here you take, you remember in associate relationship we have studied 20%. So they have not given any benchmark. This is just my thought process. 20% or more you take it as significant. Because at 20% or more we have studied associate, it becomes an associate company if you remember. No? I'm keeping that as a base. Standard does not give any percentage. This is my thought process. How much percentage you will keep as maybe benchmark for exam? 20% or more. Here is it 20% or more? Yeah. That means the usage for business purpose is what? Insignificant or significant? Significant. If the usage for business purpose, if it is significant, what you will do? Separate it or whole property? Whole property will be classified as what? OOP. Because the usage for business purpose is significant. Separation will not come here. Understood? If the question says 35% is insignificant, if question only says 35% is insignificant, in that case, what you will do? Then whole property will get classified as investment property. Okay. This one is okay. Third and fourth, you do it. It's a similar thing. Okay. Next, one more thing. Ancillary service. Next small concept is ancillary service. Sometimes what happens to people? We not only let out the property, we also give some service. Do you remember? We may give some security. We may appoint some watchmen. Common area cleaning. We may have given some maintenance. Possible. So sometimes we don't let out the property. We also give some service. Like PG, hostel. What will happen in hostel or hotel and all? Okay, maybe let's take hotel example. In hotel, hotel is giving you the room on rent on a daily basis. Yes. But hotel is only renting or also giving other service. They'll give you a wake-up call. There is a restaurant. They serve you food. They arrange car for you. They give you 101 other services. Yes or no? So, if service is also given along with letting out, now the question arose, service is given as part of our business. So, any property which you are using for business purpose, it is IP or OOP. If you are using a property for your business purpose, it is your OOP. If you are using it for rental purpose, it is IP. Now, when a hotel, in hotel business mein, rooms are given on rent. The building ka space is given on rent to the customer on a daily basis. Now, if hotel owns any property, should they show that property as OOP or IP? Understood the question? I'm not asking an answer. I'm just giving you the case we are discussing. Understood? No confusion? That is what we mean by service. So sometimes we not only let out, but we also give some service. In that case, what to do? That's what I've written here. You need to check whether service provided is significant. Whether the service provided is significant. If the service provided is significant, giving, sir, if major, now you think, hotel example mein. In hotel mein, they not only give you the room on rent, they also give you a significant service like food, right? Like laundry service, waking up service, so car service, so many other service. That is a part and parcel of hotel business, no? That is a part and parcel of hotel business. So if the service provided is significant means, then the whole property will get classified as OOP. So in case of a hotel business, hostel business and all, no, service provided is usually significant. So if a hotel owns any building, they will not show that property as investment property. They will show it as what property? Owner occupied property, because usually service provided is significant in case of hostels and hotels, etc., etc. Okay, but some hostels, no, they only rent out the properties. They'll not give you any food. There are some hostels like that also, no, they don't give any food, right? So in hostel, if the question says there is a hostel business, we run what business? Hostel business. We own a building. In hostel business, the building is let out on rent. So if they say if we are not giving any service, or service provided is not significant, then the property will get classified as investment property. The whole crux is on service provided ka nature. If service provided is of a significant nature, then it will become a business for you. Business property should be classified as OOP. If service provided is not significant, like, sir, whenever you give it on rent, you all maintenance to security and all is not a significant service. It is a basic service. So if you are giving only security and routine services and all, then service provided is not significant. So entire property will get classified as investment property. I'll give you a minute. If you are okay, we have some case study based on this. We can go for that. Again, same thing what I've written in the chart. They've written it in point format there. Need some more time, or can I get to the next? Can we look at the case study? Case study is okay? Okay, now check this. So, or maybe you answer this. Actually, it's a homework, but it's okay. You keep this as an LDR question. We'll do it. We'll not take it as homework. You tell me the answer to this question, people. I cannot. Yeah, maybe I'll not show you the answer. I'll keep it like this. One by one. They've given the case, okay, and you need to tell whether this property is an IP, OOP, inventory, what it is. A property is owned by the company. We are not a lessee, we are the owners, and we have leased out under operating lease. We own a property and we have given it on operating lease. So what sort of property? It is an investment property. For all investment property, which standard will apply? Ind AS 40. Okay. It is held as ROU. It is held as ROU. ROU means, that means we are the owners or we are lessee. We have taken an asset on lease and we have subleased, maybe. Check. Held as ROU and leased it under operating lease. We took an asset on lease and we have subleased it. What sort of a sublease have you done? Finance lease or operating lease? So is it necessary that we should own a building and let it out, or we can also sublease it? We can also sublease it. For it to be what? investment property. So this case also it will be IP, and which standard will apply? Ind AS 40. Held as ROU. That means we don't own it. We are lessee. But we have subleased it on what lease? Finance lease. So the moment you give it on finance lease, can you show the asset, or asset should be derecognized? If asset itself is not there, where is the question of IP, OOP and all that stuff? So asset will not come. So is it an IP? Basically they're asking, is this an IP? Yes, is an IP or not an IP? It is not an IP. Okay. Property acquired, we have purchased with an intention to develop and resell. We have purchased a property. What is our intention? We will develop it. Maybe we purchase the land. On that land, we will construct a building and sell it. Sir, by selling a land and all in ordinary course of business is what? Investment property or inventory? Inventory. Now, if it is a one-time sale, then you can put it as investment property. But if you are doing this as your regular business, then it becomes your inventory. Here they have assumed that it's a regular sale. If you are selling this as part of your regular course of business, then it becomes what, sir? Inventory. And inventory, which standard will apply? Ind AS 2. Okay, actually that depends. So, but this is the ICA answer there. Okay, sir. All right. Property partly owner occupied, partly leased out under operating lease. That building wala example. A few floors we are using it for business purpose. Few floors we have let it out on lease purpose. So what you will do? You will ask a couple of questions. That's the reason the answer is given as depends. Depends on what? Can you sell it separately, or can you give it on finance lease separately? If you can do that, then accounting also will be done separately. If you cannot sell it or give it on finance lease separately, then you need to ask one more question. What is that? Is a usage for business purpose significant? If the usage for business purpose is significant, means whole property will become OOP. If the usage for business purpose, if it is not significant, whole property will become IP. That's the reason they've given the answer as it depends on facts and circumstances. Okay. Land, though, it is held but with undetermined use. We have purchased the land. For what purpose we're going to use this land? Known or not yet known? Doesn't matter. Still the suggestion is to show this as what? Investment property only. Property occupied by employees. I'll not even read further. Okay, when they are paying the rent at market rate. Rent can be paid at market rate, above market, below market, irrelevant. If you have given the rent property on lease to your employees, means the intention is still to affect your business. So this is IP or OOP only? OOP only. Which standard will apply? Ind AS 60. Investment property held for sale. Sir, any property held for sale will come under Ind AS 105. Basically, if you have any property or rather non-current assets, the moment non-current asset is held for sale, which standard will apply? Ind AS 105. Okay. We'll talk about Ind AS 105. There's some conditions for it. When a property become held for sale, 7 conditions are there. CP, leave that. Yeah. When it comes to that, I will tell you. Okay. After 4-5 days, it will come. Existing investment property is being redeveloped and continue to be used as investment property. Like, let's say we have currently 3 floors in a building, which we have let out. Now we are constructing one more floor. After constructing 4th floor, what we will do? Again let out. So currently it is investment property. After development also it will continue as investment property. Means what is the nature of this property? Of course, investment property. Correct. No? That's all is this. Okay, na sir. Now congratulations. So I'll be happy here. Initial recognition. Or maybe here, just check this. Recognition criteria. Initial cost, cost inclusion, exclusion, deferred credit, exchange, disposal, depreciation, everything is same as Ind AS 16 BP. Not one bit change. Everything is same. Whatever we have studied, exchange or deferred consideration, whatever you studied in Ind AS 16, same thing will hold good for investment property also. Only changes in subsequent recognition. 1 minute. Like Ind AS 16, even investment properties are initially recognized at cost. Cost for investment property, same thing. Tell me now. Tell me. It's same as Ind AS 16. Tell me. Cost means purchase cost. Under purchase cost, rebates and trade discount minus. Non-refundable tax add. Then DAC. Then DSR. Same. For owner-occupied property, subsequently either you can go for cost model or revaluation model. But for investment property, only cost model is permitted. Revaluation model is not permitted. Maybe the thought process is all this value fluctuates frequently, right? So maybe they said fair value may not be determinable that accurately. That's one of the reasons they could have prohibited. I don't know. This is a carve out again. Okay, because IAS allows this. IAS allows this. IFRS, they allow it. Ind AS in India we are not finding, because some of the properties are not that regulated in India. No, we have A Khata, B Khata and all. Some there are a lot of restrictions. There are a lot of violations. So hence, maybe keeping that in mind, they said, because if you're valuing it under revaluation model, you'll have to find out the fair value. Maybe the thought process was some property ka fair value you cannot find accurately. That's the reason they have not allowed. Standard setters are allowing only cost model for investment property. Revaluation model is not allowed. Keep this in mind. All this will come in your bigger question as a case study. Okay, so no need to mug it up. Just you need to know what needs to be done. Can I move on to the next people? Next, I think we have only questions. So can we take a break and come back and do the remaining questions? Would you be fine with that? It's a small few questions are there. That's it. Okay, so let's take about 10 minutes break. Let's resume back by 8:10 or 8:15. 8:15 you'll pakka come. Okay, come back by 8:15. Then we'll continue with the numerical questions. Thank you.